Good morning, my fellow hookers. I just wanted to show you a little something that the beautiful Amber, who is my model, gave me. She is the most amazing lady. I do love her. She is trending piece. If you can find her on Facebook, you will absolutely not be disappointed in what you see. This is one of her newer items. It is the most gorgeous dragonfly. I believe she said this was malachite, and it has been topped with that aura. And it's one of my favorite pieces. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. And so I'm going to put it right here on my table so that I can see it every time I come down to speak to you, lovely folks. So, having said that, I promised you a video today, and I am truly sorry I forgot all about this. So if you guys are past this, I'm so sorry. One other thing that I am going to warn you about, my nails will not always be this clean. Gardening season has started, and as you can see, my nails are already starting to get dirty. I will try to keep my manicure as nice as possible, but I make no promises. Alrighty, so as you can see, I have two threads there that I started another area. And I did know that this was going to happen, but so that I can show you guys what's going on, let me know how far you are on your sweater shawl. You can send me pictures on Facebook. I have Addicted to Yarn on Facebook. It has my logo, so you'll know it's me. And that's about it. So let me know how far you are. Send me pictures of the colors and the yarn you're using. I always love to see that. And to those of you who are looking to send me an email, my email address, and I'm sorry, it's very long. It is addicted.to.yarn589@gmail.com. I will post it in the comment section so you guys can see it, or in the community tab. Sorry, I'll post it in the comment section of this video too. So if you do want to send me a video or a picture of what you've been doing or questions you might have, please feel free. I will answer them as quickly as possible. Normally, like I said, I spend my day stitching. I have a few chores here and there, but for the most part, I spend my day stitching because this is my job. So, I'm actually going to do something that I'm going to tell you never ever to do. But because, I kind of know what I'm doing and I'm happy with it, I'm going to cut my yarn for you. So I was going to try to get this ball done, and it just didn't work because, other stuff got in the way. So we'll just pretend that I have, let me just wrap this back up a bit so that I don't get into trouble here with a mess. There we go. Okay, so here I am with my yarn, and I will now proceed to pretend. Where's my scissors? Where did I put them? There they are. I will proceed to pretend that I am at the end of a ball. So I'm always going to leave myself. So I've cut my yarn. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. Just rewind this video or play it as many times as you need. It's not a difficult thing to do, and there are many ways to do it. The one thing I don't appreciate in my stuff is I don't appreciate knots. Cut besides, I don't appreciate knots in my work. So I will never do it in the knot way. There is also the invisible way. I've never trusted it because I've always been able to get it to come apart. And with washing and wearing on something that is wearable, I will not use the invisible method. This is the most safe and best way for me to use. Please feel free to look up other videos. I'm fine with that, but this is the best way for me to use. So here we go. So I'm just going to continue stitching until I get a little closer to the end of my yarn. What I want is probably a good tail amount would be about, say, let's just measure that. I've got my handy dandy measuring tape. I would suggest between 4 and 5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to wait until I've got about 4 or 5 inches left. And then I'm going to start my new ball. I know it's my old ball, but that's okay. So again, all I'm doing for this whole pattern is single crochet, chain 1. Okay, so there I go. So now what I'm going to do, try to start this on a single crochet. It's going to be much easier than starting it on a chain. So I'm going to grab my tail. I'm going to stick through that chain space. I'm going to yarn over, pull through, but then I'm going to hang on to this with my thumb. Can you see that there? So I'm holding on to my tail with my thumb. I'm going to grab the new ball. I'm going to hook it through so that, again, I've got about 4 or 5 inches to start. I'm going to hold that super tightly, and I'm going to bring that through. So I pretended I've got a yarn over, and then I brought it through both those. I'm going to keep holding both pieces of my yarn, and I'm going to do my single crochet. Then I'm going to drop my tail up front here. I'm going to pull that a little tighter. Okay, I'm going to drop my tails. I'm going to carry on as if nothing happened. So I'm going to go through that chain space, pull through, and yarn over, pull through. Now, because that's going to look a little bit sloppy because those ends are loose, okay, that's fine. You're just going to give them a little tug. Don't pull them too tight, but just give them a little tug. So now you really can't tell where I started. Can you see that? You really can't tell where I started that yarn, and that's what you want to have happen. So if you take a look, and let's just see if I can get that in focus. If you take a look here, you really can't tell other than a little bit of thickness in this stitch. And that's exactly what you want to happen, because what's going to happen now is when you come back along this row, okay, it's going to disappear within the stitches. So now that we've got that done, let's show you how to put in your ends. And again, on this particular pattern, super easy. There are others that are even easier, but this one is pretty easy. So I'm just going to go forward just a few stitches. I'm single crocheting, chain 1, and then single crochet in the chain space, just like we've always been doing. All right, so now I'm going to come back here. I'm going to grab my handy dandy darning needles. I hope everybody has some lovely metal ones. And because this is a fairly small yarn, I can choose a fairly small, put my lid back on before I lose them all. I can choose a fairly small darning needle. Okay, now the easiest way to thread this, don't even bother trying to do the ends. Just fold your 2 pieces over like that, okay? So you've got your ends here, your work here, and you're going to fold it over, slip the needle out, and now you've got this little bit there. Put that through, and look, boom. No fussing, no mussing, no nothing. You're all of a sudden threaded. You don't have to use a needle threader, nothing. Oops, let's just pull that out so I don't lose my end. Okay, so now I'm going to try to show you the mechanics of the stitch of the same row and then the row beneath, because those are the 2 rows we're going to be stitching into, sewing into. So here's where can you see that? Oops, there we go. Here's where I started my new ball, right? Oh, there we go. And I'm going to pick up 1 or 2 or 3 strands only. Don't go through the whole stitch like this, okay? Just thread through 1, 2, or 3 strands first. Get it locked in there. Give it a bit of a tug, but not too much. Hold on to your work with your thumb and give it a tug. Because what that's going to do is that's going to lock in those stitches that we made to start the new ball. Now you're going to just do a couple more on this row. So again, the top loops only of that stitch. I'm going to go down 1 more full stitch. Okay. You can see that you can see my needle through the stitch. It hasn't gone to the back of my work. The only time you're going to see that is through the stitch. That's what you want. Now I'm going to again hold on to where I started, give it a bit of a tug just to make sure it's nice and tight, but I held on to where it was attached, because if I don't, what's going to happen is I'm going to end up with a bit of a mess, and I'm going to end up with a stitch that gets squashed. I don't want that. So I'm going to pull that out a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to go back through on the row beneath. Okay, so this is the row we finished on, but this is the row underneath. And I'm going to bring my yarn back through 1, 2, 3 full stitches. Okay, can you see that? And again, the only way you're going to see that is through the stitches. So I'm going to just give that a little bit of a tug. Again, I'm holding on to where it came through. And then I'm going to go back up again through this. You're going to do this at least 3 times if you feel that you're not secure enough. So again, I went through those same 3 stitches and I'm going to give it a bit of a tug. Oh, my ends got in there. I'm going to pull my ends out. Give it a bit of a tug. Make sure everything is nice and secure. Now, as you can see, all that extra yarn, okay, it made it a little bit of a boopsie. And that's fine because that will work itself back in with each successive row. You will never see it. And it's going to take a very experienced eye to see that end. Now I am going to just tug a tiny little bit, snip as close as I can to my work. All right, poof, done. Don't catch the stitches when you snip. I've done it. It's not pleasant. You have to take it all out. It's just unpleasant. So now you've learned, and again, do it over and over and over again as many times as you need to. Replay, oops, there we go. Replay this video as many times as you want. It's a very, very short video because it's a very, very short trick. Again, check out the other ways to do it. This is the one that I find works for me. And I'm just going to say only because my mom and other stitchers, other hookers have used the same method. It is almost invisible. Like it is going to take a very experienced stitcher to see that. And again, you're going to do it back and forth at least 3 times. You can do 4. You can even come down into the 3rd row if you're so inclined. And then what that's going to do is that's going to make sure that you're not going to have any ends. The minimal end you're going to see is just, see that little bit sticking out there, right there? That's going to be the worst of your ends. And that's it. Because what you've done is you've now secured that. So even through washing and wearing and everything else, it's not going to come loose. And that, my friends, my fellow hookers, that is how you can, I'll just pull that, there we go. And that's how you invisibly start and end a ball. That is it. That is all. Just a very, very short video today. And I think that is all we have to show you today. So like I said, send me a message, put me a message down below in the comments. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how you're loving your project. Send me an email. I will post my email address in the description below. And other than that, I shall leave you on this wonderfully glorious day. I will be stitching outside today because it's just beautiful. And I think we're going to reach 12 degrees Celsius. So that would be like 65, 60-ish Fahrenheit. And this Canadian girl is going to go out and enjoy that sunshine with her puppy. So I shall bid you all adieu. Have an absolutely glorious day. Be kind to yourself. Enjoy a good cup of coffee in a favorite mug or tea, if you're a tea drinker. And my name is Sherry, and I am addicted to yarn.